Hi boys and girls, this is your comprehension video. Our comprehension skill this week is about plot. And in a plot, that means the things that happen in a story, but we are going to focus on the problem and the solution that happens in a story. So I'm going to read to you a story, and this would be from your little reading book, which you do not have at home, so you'll need to follow along with me. And as I read, be thinking about what is the problem and how do they solve it, which is the solution. All right, so I'm going to read you the story and then we'll talk about the problem and solution after. Genre is fiction. The title is The Art Project. Essential question, how can we protect the Earth? Read to find out about saving Earth's resources. So there's your picture. Look, the community center is having an art contest, said Grace. She was holding a flyer. Mrs. Simon read the flyer aloud. Everyone agreed they would like to enter the art contest. Mrs. Simon said, our classroom supply of art materials is low because it's the end of the year. I'll check with Mrs. Rice to see what she has. Mrs. Rice, the art teacher, didn't have any art materials. I won't be getting a supply until next year, she said. The whole class was disappointed. How can we enter the art contest without art materials? Asked Grace. Maybe we can raise some money. We could have a bake sale, suggested Hal. I don't think there's time, Mrs. Simon said. We'll use the paper in the recycling bin, Pablo said. Pablo did not often raise his hand. He rarely spoke up, so everyone was surprised when he offered an idea. So here are the next two pages and the pictures, and let's focus in on the story. Hal said, I'm curious about your idea. I want to learn why you would use old paper. So we can save Earth's resources, replied Pablo. When we use recycled paper, we use natural materials and save trees. We can also use this old string and these wire hangers, added Grace. Now the class had to decide what to do with the materials. Pablo had another idea. We can fold the paper into cranes, then we can attach the cranes to a frame to make a mobile. Mrs. Simon taught the children how to fold the paper into cranes, then everyone helped attach the cranes to the mobile. On the day of the art contest, the paper crane mobile hung in the enormous community center room. The huge space was crowded with art projects. From far off, the class spotted their project. The crane mobile swayed gently as people walked past. From a distance, the paper cranes appeared to be softly flying. The judges checked each art project. They looked closely at the crane mobile. The paper crane mobile won the prize for the most creative use of materials. As the class proudly accepted their prize, they could not stop grinning. Grace exclaimed, we made our art project and we saved the earth at the same time. What was the problem the class had at the beginning of the story? So here's the first page. What was the problem? If we reread in these two paragraphs, we can see what the problem is. It says, Mrs. Simon read the flyer aloud. Everyone agreed they would like to enter the contest. Mrs. Simon said, our classroom supply of art materials is low because it's the end of the year. I'll check with Mrs. Rice to see what she has. Mrs. Rice, the art teacher, didn't have any art materials. I won't be getting a supply until next year. The whole class was disappointed. How can we enter the art contest without art materials? Asked Grace. Boys and girls, do you see the problem? The problem usually happens at the beginning of the story. See, that's only the second and third paragraphs where we find out the problem. So the problem was they wanted to enter, right there, They wanted to enter the art contest, but they didn't have any materials, art supplies. So that's your problem. How did they solve their problem? Well, Pablo came up with an idea. Here's how they could have supplies. Let's use the paper in the recycling bin. Now, did that completely solve their problem? No, but it did solve the problem of having materials. So then, here's how they solved the rest of the problem. Grace said they could use the string and wire hangers and reuse them. And then Pablo had the idea to make cranes. And then the teacher helped them. So, how did they solve their problem? By using old materials that they already had in the classroom. What do the children do at school to help protect the earth? So in our story, they used recycled materials. All of the things that they used to make the crane project were originally used for something else. The paper from the recycling bin. This one says old string and wire hangers. So they reused materials they already had. Boys and girls, you can practice your skill of problem and solution when you read any story. If it's an AR book, definitely look for this. What is the problem? You're going to find that at the beginning of the story. And what is the solution that they work out throughout the story, but have the solution at the end? Okay, so practice your skill, problem and solution, and we will see you in the next video.